Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. Today is the 8th day of our 12 days of Christmas and we're making these guys, CHOKLADKOla. CHOKLADKOla means chocolate caramels and that's exactly what they are. They are soft, chewy, buttery, delicious caramels flavored with dark chocolate. These are quite common around Christmas time, maybe not as common as say a vanilla caramel like we did last year, but still quite common. These don't really require any special ingredients beyond like the dark chocolate. I'm using an 80% in this. You could use a 60 or a 70. Do know that they'll be more sweet if you use a sweeter chocolate though. But you guys are going to love them, so let me just go show you how to make them.
To begin, grease a small casserole dish. I don't have any spray fat as usual, so I just brush on some neutral oil. Lay down a piece of parchment paper. I like to cut mine so it's only going up 2 sides, and then brush the parchment with more oil and set to the side. Melt 150 grams of dark chocolate. I like to use 80%, but you could use 60 or 70% for a sweeter caramel. Into a small pot, pour 600 grams of cream and 90 grams of honey. Place on the stove over medium-high heat. As soon as it comes to a boil, take it off the heat and set to the side. This caramel is a little bit complicated. There are 3 different stages and 3 different temperatures to remember. The first stage is a dry caramel. This means the only thing in the pot is sugar, nothing else. Now the proper way to do this is by adding the sugar slowly, layer by layer, and letting each new layer melt completely before adding in the next. I kind of do this, but I'm also very impatient, so I tend to add quite a lot of sugar each time and not quite wait for everything to melt before adding the next addition of sugar. Because this caramel is a dry caramel, there's very little risk of it crystallizing, so you can really stir quite a lot. I keep it over medium heat so it doesn't run away from me. We want to take the caramel to about 165, 170 degrees Celsius. It should be completely liquid, no chunks of sugar left, and most importantly, have tiny orange bubbles forming on the surface. See how it looked like this, just clear on top, and then came up these orange bubbles? As soon as you see those, the caramel is done. Turn off the heat and begin pouring in the warm cream. Do this a little at a time. Do not pour it all in at once. The caramel will bubble up a lot with each addition of cream, and you do not want this to overflow. Remember, hot sugar syrups are extremely dangerous as they cause extremely bad burns. Work slowly and carefully. Add the last bit of cream, then turn the heat back on. Stirring continuously, take the caramel to 110 degrees Celsius. This should happen fairly quickly. Add in 115 grams of butter and keep stirring. As soon as it reaches 125 degrees Celsius, take off the heat. Working quickly, add a couple tablespoons of hot caramel to the melted chocolate and whisk together. Add a couple more tablespoons of caramel and keep whisking. The chocolate will break. This is what we want. Add several more tablespoons at a time until it comes together and you have a gorgeous glossy emulsion. Add all the rest of the caramel.
Beautiful. And we're gonna go around with the spatula just to make sure there's no streaks or anything. Be very careful with where you hold this bowl. We did it. Now this just needs to cool and crystallize for 24 hours. This is how I like to make wrapping papers for the caramels. You're gonna take normal parchment paper. Mine are already cut into tray-sized pieces, but otherwise just cut yourself a piece. I like to do 2 at a time. You're gonna fold it hamburger. Everyone who is in the 1st grade in the United States knows what I'm talking about right now. You're gonna fold it hamburger, taking your offset, or not offset, but little metal spatula, cut, and then you just hold it down and it slides right through that paper. And again, hamburger, press down and press down. Inside, you're gonna hit that corner and cut. And then, yet again, hamburger. Press down really hard. And again, slice. Schwunk. And now you have a bunch of caramel papers. Oh, and for those who aren't familiar, so short side, hamburger, like a hamburger comes together, or you have long side. This would be hot dog, okay? Hot dog, hamburger. To take your chocolate caramel out, bench scraper, and you're just gonna go in to the bottom. It'll kind of relax itself back into place. Don't worry about it. I find it's helpful when cutting caramel to oil your knife. This would be best with spray fat, but as per usual, I do not have spray fat. Classic. And we're going to flip you upside down. Come on, come on. Schwunk. Now you have two different ways of cutting this, by using a ruler, or you can cut it by weight, or actually the third way is just to eyeball it. I'm gonna go with eyeballing today. To cut this, you are using a sawing motion, because if you stop in the caramel, it will immediately stick to the knife, and you will, as you're cutting, and which can be dangerous if you don't have the world's dullest knife like I do. And also, as soon as you get some caramel on here, it's gonna wanna stick to itself every other time you cut. So make sure you are sawing, saw, 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 saw. And then at the end, you can kind of cut like this. And again, we are sawing until I know I am all the way through. You're like, oh my God, this is so stuck. It's not stuck. You're gonna take your knife, you're gonna go underneath it, you're gonna push it up like that. It's not stuck at all. It just likes to settle a little bit. I want these to be pretty thin because I think they're really thick boys here. I literally don't know, like I am not measuring this at all. Doing this 100% by eye because life is more fun on the edge. This is gonna be a big piece of caramel, I tell you what. That's that's such a chunky piece of caramel. I made these thick. Now I have more parchment here because I forgot. Ooh, different color. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. With these guys, because they like to settle and kind of stick back together a little bit, after you've cut a row, it's nice to move them onto a piece of parchment so they don't kind of stick back together again. Because you can see even here where I already cut, they've like fused back together. That's fine, they do that. To wrap these guys, piece of paper, just take a guy, you plop it in the middle like that. I like to do it so it's a little bit in the middle like that. Around and around and twist and twist. And there you go, into the bowl. I have realized as I am folding all of these that I haven't even tasted one. Imagine if I did all of this work and I don't even know if they're good or bad. These are so good. I think these might actually be my favorite caramel because the dark chocolate adds a depth and a bitterness that is just not in a vanilla caramel, which like, obviously that's not the purpose of a vanilla caramel, but like, these are so good. And just the perfect amount of chew. Love. These pieces might be a little on the big side though. Probably could have made them smaller. But other than that, delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, then please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that you have a good day and that I will see you around next time. Hej då!
Get this recipe and 23 more Swedish Christmas classics in my latest ebook, 24 Days of Christmas, available for purchase on my website now.